It's current year, 2020, and Ford is already not doing well. I mean, the world is currently in panic mode for reasons I'm sure you're aware of, but Ford lost almost $1.7 billion in Q4 of last year, so the virus wasn't the beginning of Famoko's troubles. I guess I can kind of understand why they axed all of their cars, but I'm really gonna miss the Focus ST the most. For those of you who don't know, the Focus comes in a hopped-up Sport Technologies variant, but the 4th gen and the 2nd gen only weren't for Europe land. America did get the 3rd gen though, and it's a damn good hot hatch. This is a 2017 Focus ST with the ST1 package, and it's damn good. Like the other car reviews I made, I'm going to be going over my experiences and thoughts on this little hot hatch, starting off with the interior. The materials and build quality are fine, I guess. It doesn't surpass expectations for the price range, but it's comfortable enough and looks decent. I'm not usually a fan of giving numbers to cars, but 7 out of 10 for lack of a better phrase. There are some good bits of design in here though, like these working gauges and the infotainment screen that'll turn itself off when not being used. Oh, a quick word on the infotainment by the way. In here is the ST1 package, and although it's a little bare bones and 2000s, I'll still take it over the piano black fingerprint covered ST3 panel. Gonna be honest, the visibility isn't great in here. Ford isn't exactly to blame though. It was the US government's idea to have every car have Thunder Thigh C-pillars, but Ford in particular seems to be really struggling with this. I mean, not anymore, but we didn't get the 4th gen ST. Dicks. Here's a brief comparison. The Civic I did in the last video has, in my opinion, a better made interior, but the seats in the ST are some of the best I've felt thus far. The seats are not only comfortable, but positioned in a way that feels alien, yet oddly intuitive. I normally sit pretty close to the pedals, but you can't really do that in an ST. The seat's a little far back with the pedals pushed forward, so it's definitely an adjustment, but it feels comfortable after like 2 seconds of driving. It's basically a ripstick on 4 wheels. Speaking of stick by the way, this car only came in manual, but don't worry, this is remarkably easy to drive. The clutch is really light and pretty forgiving, and the shifter is springy and just slides into every gear as expected. I will say that the gears feel a little packed together and the throw is a tad long, but the gearing's good enough to forgive that. Like, right when you shift, you're right back into the power band. How neat is that? Oh, and I haven't even gone over the engine yet. The engine that's in here is the 2-liter Turbo 4 EcoBoost. It makes about 252 horsepower and 270 torques and is based on the Mazda L series and the Mazda Speed Twins. And also, because Ford owned Volvo for like a decade, you can get this exact engine in one of those. Not a bad idea, actually. This one is tuned though, making about 312 with some light bolt-ons, but it'll knock off like 20 horsepower if you're in normal mode instead of sport or track. Personally, I'm not a very big fan of this, especially when I gotta enter the Konami code and get a signed permission slip to turn the stability control off, but it's not that big of a deal. Regardless of mode though, the power is linear. The turbo spins at 3 grand and rides at Y equals MX plus B up to redline. Don't get me wrong, this is a good amount of power. I was just surprised that there wasn't a boost spike.
My first gear is shorter than yours.
But if you need the car to do normal car things, like not backfire or scare the shit out of people, stay below 3 grand in normal mode and have basic pedal control. I mean, none of this is active in track mode, so you're on your own for that.
So you said stay in first?
Yeah, leave it in first. I'll tell you when to shift. Shift at 5 grand.
Oh, whoa, holy fuck!
But it's nice to have a more tame mode just in case someone else needs to drive it. And all of this plays into how the car handles, and the car most definitely handles. Ford did front-wheel drive right while doing a good job reducing the common issues with the drivetrain. Torque steer and understeer plague older FF cars, but the Focus uses torque vectoring to reduce all that. I just really like how responsive and sure-footed the ST feels without making the driver feel like they're just giving suggestions and watching the car do a thing. Is that what the term driver's car means? If I had a main thesis of driving this Focus ST, I'd say that it's very confidence-inspiring. An ST always feels like it's pushing you to do just one more. No torque steer, and not much indication that you're reaching the limit, so it'll get away from you if you're not careful. Now, we filmed this in early February, before people were thinking about quarantines and rationing. And yes, it's been a while, but I wrote the script right after I drove the car, so I'm not misremembering stuff. Either way though, even though it was like 30 degrees, this little car made the world feel just a little warmer, even without the thick cloth of the jacket. A Focus ST oozes comfy summer memories, and maybe we'll all be able to experience some when all this blows over. Just don't buy this if you're looking for a first car. Get a 3K Civic and get one later. They'll still be around. Follow the owner on Instagram here, and see you next month. Peace.